In this video, we'll be talking about natal Scorpio moon in the 9th house and what this placement means for you if you have it in your chart. And with that being said, when the moon is in Scorpio, it shows somebody who is emotionally fixed or convinced, because Scorpio is a fixed water sign. Fixed signs are about a constant state of being, and water is about emotion or feeling. So when the moon is in Scorpio, it shows somebody who constantly feels a certain way about a certain thing, depending on the house that it's in. And furthermore, the moon is debilitated in Scorpio because it shows somebody who constantly feels a certain way, but also who feels a feeling of lack or desire or need, or like somebody that had unfulfilled needs, because Scorpio is the sign of lack, desires, and psychological complicated situations and power struggles. And it is the opposite of Taurus, which is where the moon is exalted, and Taurus is all about contentment, fulfillment, and security. So when the moon is in Taurus, it is exalted because it shows somebody who is emotionally fulfilled or content naturally or from their upbringing. But when the moon is in Scorpio, which is the opposite, it shows that there is a lack of contentment, or there's a sense of desire, which desire and motivation can be useful in some cases. But when the moon is here, which is all about, supposed to be about security, it shows somebody that's motivated to find security, or that lacks emotional fulfillment, especially due to their upbringing or the relationship that they had to their mother. So when the moon is in the ninth house, this shows that you have a need for guidance and also for something to believe in. You have this need to feel inspired and to feel philosophically or religiously guided, because the 9th house is about faith, beliefs, and religion, or it could be about philosophy. So for the most part, when there's a debilitated moon here in the 9th house, this could show a debilitated aspect around religion or beliefs. So in your upbringing, maybe there was an unhealthy relationship to religion, either a too strong relationship to morality and religions that became controlling and that became, toxic or unhealthy in terms of how the parents raised you or raised your family and your siblings and whatnot. Or, it could just be another aspect having to do with beliefs. But for the most part, in general, when you have the moon in Scorpio in the 9th house, you will be very emotionally convinced of your beliefs and your assumptions, because the 9th house is also about experiences. So what it shows me is that in your life, you had very meaningful or deep experiences that made you emotionally convinced or jaded about some topic or about in some context. So it doesn't have to necessarily be jaded, but you develop a lot of strong emotional convictions and feelings based on these very significant experiences that you've had in your life. And again, these are sometimes assumptions because they're based off experiential wisdom, and I was gonna say circumstantial, but I meant experiential. But firstly, this also will show somebody that is stuck on certain beliefs or battling others over certain beliefs. And belief can almost be like a power struggle for them, because Scorpio is all about power, competition, and fighting for resources or fighting for a position of something. So in terms of beliefs, there could be that sort of a paradigm when it comes to religion, faith, or morality. It could feel like a fight. And on an internal level, you could have a very controlling morality or lifestyle. Like, you could be very hard on your own self based on morality and beliefs. And this is a debilitated moon being in your 9th house. That's indicating to me something of that nature. So again, the moon in the 9th house shows somebody that needed guidance. That's their way of feeling nurtured. Like, they felt most happy when they had a guidance figure, especially perhaps the father figure. But they also wanted freedom, because the 9th house is about expansion. So they like the type of guidance that expands their mind, not the type of guidance where there are rules, limitations, or where it is too controlling or not hands-on, but where there's like strings attached. They don't really like that. But with Scorpio, it could show that there was strings attached to the way that you were taught or brought. I meant to, say upbringing, but I didn't know how to say it in that conjugation or that tense. But basically, the way that you were brought up, what may have strings attached to how you were guided. But for the most part, the moon in the 9th house by itself just shows somebody that likes to be guided from like a benevolent and a non-committal way, like in a way that the person in the way that the guiding figure lets them learn from experience and doesn't try to control the outcomes all the time. Instead, the guiding figure just plays the role of a protector when the person is in danger of something, or like a wise figure. Like, they'll give them words of wisdom, but they'll let them learn. They'll let the child learn. So that's like how this person feels nurtured or how you feel nurtured when you have this moon in the 9th house. So essentially, the thing is, though, with the moon in Scorpio, there was some sort of debilitated aspect to beliefs or to guidance or to your morality. So you could have a controlling morality, or people that taught you things or that gave you wisdom, but with like strings attached, or like some sort of hidden motives, or from this fear-based mentality as well. Like, you could have fear-based beliefs or morality. That's 100% going to happen, or like be relatable in some sense when you have the moon in Scorpio in the 9th house. Like, it could not necessarily be religious. It could just be a fear-based belief about people or the world, or about morality, like right from wrong, or how you should act. And this is that was a big element of how you were raised, is morality and fear and consequences. So ultimately, though, the last thing about this placement, which I think I've already said that I was going to say the last thing, but the real last thing about this placement is that one of your traits is that there will be some sort of debilitated or emotionally influenced assumptions that you have that may cloud your judgment at times. But you yourself are self-aware of this. Like, you are aware that you have like beliefs from negative experiences, and like this is something that you work to change. And in fact, at significant points in your life, there's going to be major transformations to your beliefs and like to your wisdom, or like major upgrades to your lifestyle, because Scorpio is all about death and transformation. So death and rebirth, I should say. So it's essentially about transformation. So like, you also have the blessing of going through significant turning points in your life that will bring you to a whole different side, and that will really expand you, and you will have firsthand wisdom or experience from difficult situations. So that's one of your possessions that you have, is you have wisdom from difficult circumstances. So anyway, with that being said, that summarizes what I wanted to talk about for this placement. So hopefully this was insightful and it resonated. If you did learn something from this video and or it did resonate and you liked it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more content. If you would like a natal chart reading where I cover all of your placements in a personalized video reading, which will be private and only sent to you, then check the link in my description to my Patreon, where I do a free natal chart reading for each of my Jupiter tier patrons. And for the lower tier, which is the moon tier, I have a 50% discount off of natal chart readings for those patrons. I also have an email in my description if you'd like to contact me that way and book a reading that way, or if you have like other specific inquiries. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching and supporting in any way that you do, and I will talk to you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.